Good HDLC morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself as a leader of the Group 3, and I am Generose Gonzalez.
Are you ready to play?
For today's discussion, we will discuss what is the one-to-one function, what is not one-to-one function or the difference between them, and also we will discuss the inverse function. What is one-to-one function? A one-to-one function is a function of which the answers never repeat, a function for which every element of the range of the function corresponds to exactly one element of the domain. For example, f of x equals x plus 1. It is a one-to-one function because it produces a different answers for every input.
An example of one-to-one function, we have set A, set B. In set A, we have number 2, 4, and 11. In set B, we have 5, 6, and 9. We will see here that each number has a partner. Another example of one-to-one function, in f of x, we have A, B, and C. In g of x, we have D, E, F. If you want to know if a function is one-to-one, then you typically consider two values x raised to 1 and x raised to 2 in the domain of f, such that f of x raised to 1 equals to f of x raised to 2. From this, if you can derive that x raised to 1 equals to x raised to 2, then your function is one-to-one function.
So what is not one-to-one function? It is the opposite of one-to-one function. Not one-to-one function if a horizontal line passes through the graph of the function more than once, then the function is not considered as one-to-one function. Example, f of x is equals to x squared. It is not one-to-one function because it produces 4 as the answer when you input both a2 and a negative 2. But the function f of x is equals to x minus 3 is a one-to-one function because it produces a different answer for every input.
In the example of not one-to-one function, we had set A and set B again. In a set A, we have negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and 4. In a set B, we have 16, 4, and 0. In the set of A and set B, we will see here that the numbers in a set A are representation numbers of set B. Another example of not one-to-one is g of x equals to 1x negative 2. This absolute value function that passes the vertical line test to be a function. In addition, this function has y values that are paired with more than one x values, such as 4 and 2 and 0 and 2, so this function is not one-to-one.
What is inverse function? An inverse is a function that serves to undo another function. That is, if f of x produces y, then putting y into the inverse of f produces the output x. A function of f that has an inverse is called invertible, and the inverse is denoted by f raised to negative 1. It is best to illustrate inverses using an arrow diagram.
We have here an example of inverse function. Let's see here that f of x equals to x raised to 3 plus 8. Let's find the inverse function. The first step is to replace f of x with y. Now, the next step is to transpose x with y, so x is equals to y, to the third plus 8, then solve. After solving the variable y, solve for 8, so let's subtract both sides by 8. So we're gonna have x minus 8 is equals to y to the third. So how we can solve for y? In this example, the variable 3, we need to turn that into 1. So what we can do in this point is to take the cube root of both sides. On the left, we have the cube root of x, negative 8. On the right, the cube root of y to the third is basically the 3's will be cancelled because 3 divided by 3, we will get 1, so it becomes just y. So therefore, the inverse function is the cube root of x negative 8, and that's the answer.
Another example, we have f of x equals the square root of x plus 2 negative 5. Let's start with the same process. Let's replace f of x with y, then copy the square root x plus 2 negative 5 next. Transpose x with y, so the steps are gonna be the same. So we have gonna have x is equal to the square root of square root y plus 2 negative 5 next. Solve for y, so let's transpose 5 to the left side. So we're gonna have x plus 5 is equal to square root y plus 2. So now we need to remove the radical. We need to do is need to take the square of both sides of the equation. So on the left side we have is x plus y raised to 2, which is basically x plus 5 multiplied by itself twice. On the right, we simply have y plus 2. Now to the left, we need to use the method of FOIL method. X times x is equals to x raised to 2 and x times 5, that's 5x, and we have another 5 times x, and it's 5 times 5, which is 25, equals to y plus 2, and we need to combine like terms. So we have 5x times 5x, that's will be 10x. So we got x squared plus 10x plus